what we eat and what we eat. It is, of course, the church. Now, things are somewhat in flux here in the year of our Lord, 1537. His Majesty having been declared the supreme head of the Church of England. But His Majesty still does follow many of the ways of the old church. And so we have a year that is divided into feasting days,
Huzzah!
and fasting days.
5.
Fortunately for all of you, today is a
Feasting day!
huzzah!
Huzzah!
Which means basically you can eat anything you want. Now, that is great on feasting days. However, fasting days, and there are a lot of them. I mean, I am talking all 40 days of Lent, every Wednesday and Friday, and some saints' days.
Saints' days?
Aye.
What kind of lousy saint do you have to be to have a fasting day?
St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes.
Oh, I thought that was the patron saint of the hooligans.
Same thing. You've met them. So it's a lot of fasting days. And on fasting days, you can have neither flesh, nor fowl, nor anything that comes from it. So not only can you not have meat or poultry, you cannot have anything it produces. So no milk.
No eggs?
No cheese.
Nothing from milk.
Aye.
So no butter?
Correct.
Well, certainly there's something wrong there, because since growing up, I have always had butter on fasting days.
Going back to that first part about what you can eat and drink and having how much money you have, there is a way around this. It's called an indulgence. It's where you pay the church money to do things you're not supposed to do. So, for example, a lot of churches have what is called a butter box. And you put money in the butter box in order to be able to eat butter on the Sabbath. Trust me, it is very valuable. Try cooking a plum torte with fish oil. Made that mistake once, never going back. But there is an entire cathedral in France that had a butter box out, and they collected so much money, they built a whole new tower. It's called the Butter Tower.
So that is why my mom always sent Allie and me to the chapel the day before a fasting day, so that we could put butter in the butter box and have butter.
Peasants cannot afford to put money in the butter box, because if they put money in the butter box, they wouldn't have enough money to buy butter!
Mr. Cecily,
What?
you seem to be a bit butter bitter.
A bit. Moving on. So, you have to follow those rules. However, the church is somewhat
Arbitrary.
about what it calls flesh and what it calls fish. And in order to explain that, I bring out our good friend, Weaver the Beaver. Everyone say, hi, Weaver!
Hi, Weaver.
So as you can see, Weaver is a beaver, therefore Weaver would be classified as flesh. You would not be able to eat beaver on a fasting day. Au contraire, mon frère, you are only half right. Because while you could not eat, no darling, not you, someone like you. While you could not eat this part of Weaver, because it's a beaver, and it's flesh, according to the church, you can eat beaver tail. Why? Because it's a fish. Why? Because it swims in the water. Don't try to make sense of it. These are the same people that bring you indulgences.
Celibacy for priests, but apparently not for bishops.
And enough pieces of the true cross to rebuild the White Hart after a mad witch had gone off the road. So, here is your class act public service announcement of the day. We are here to save your soul. On fasting days, no beaver, only tail. Say it with us. On fasting days,
No beaver, only tail. And remember, if your children get the joke, you're raising them right.
So that is a little bit about what we eat and what we drink and when and why we need to drink it. But now on to this week's